So here is what I'm building. This is kind of a preliminary. I'm not going to pull lines or anything off this drawing, but it's just kind of a rough thing. But anyway, I'm about to start building the forms for my piers, and I'm just going to use some kind of some 2x4s that I cut. I have a sawmill, and I'm going to use some of my cut that aren't really suitable for anything else, where they're warped or like kind of weird in dimensions and stuff. But I got a whole pile of this kind of stuff that it's real close to just being firewood, and after they get used for forms it will be. But right now I'm just looking at this, trying to figure out how many forms I need to make, because I'm going to put a pier pretty much every 8 feet. So about to figure that number out, and then I'll show you making some forms. Here's my quality pile of lumber. As you can see, it's just, this stuff is not, I definitely wouldn't build anything with this, and it's kind of random thicknesses. Pretty gross stuff, but I think I can still use it to build these little forms. They're not going to be very big. It'll be 1 foot by 1 foot inside, and so it'll be perfect for what I'm doing, and I won't have to spend money on nice lumber. So I'm going to set up a camera and time lapse that, cut it, and then I'll assemble them. So I'm taking some of this really junky stuff and just ripping it through the table saw to create these 1x stakes in essence, and you'll see what those are for here in a minute. But I'm going to use them in essence to center the anchors. So I'll drill a hole and put the anchor in it, and it'll hold it in the concrete while the form's setting up. So I'm going to cut a few more of those. Alright, so here's the way I'm going to lay this form out. I want it to be 1 foot, and so I'll probably just start, I'll try to get a flat side, because these boards are, they're all over the place. So find a good edge, put it toward the inside, try to find the flat surface and put it on this table here. See how this is proud, but I'm going to end up flipping it the other way, and the bottom will be the top of the form. And then when I flip it, I'll put a board like this, and I'll end up drilling a hole right in the middle of it, putting my hardware with a couple of nuts to hold it in place, and then once it's done, I'll undo the nuts and unscrew the form boards. And so I'll put you on hyperlapse or whatever to show you kind of what I'm doing, if I can get an angle. So what I've learned from the process is that originally I'd put everything on where the top was upside down, but it actually works better if I can kind of hold things together and get a better connection, because some of these aren't so good, which it's not going to matter much, and if it really bugs me, I'll run them through the planer or whatever. I think they're narrow enough I can, but I learned that, and then I'm pre-drilling holes so it's easier to put stuff together. This is pine, so it's pretty soft, but it seems like if you do what I call batch processing, where you take and you do the same thing for whatever it is, like these 4 holes, I drill all 4 holes, drill 4 holes there, put screws in all 8 holes, you know, that kind of thing. And so that helped me speed up. The first one I did was painfully slow, and this last one I've probably got it down to like maybe 2 minutes. But that's all I'm going to do for now. I've got 21 of these to build, and then I think I'll reuse some of them when I do the porch, but I'm going to do that in another stage as far as I know. as I was putting away stuff from making those forms, I had a missed call, and it was the power company, and so I've got a date set. This next Monday I'm supposed to meet with them, the staking engineer, and he's going to look at everything and I guess hopefully schedule when they're going to come and put in a transformer so I can have power on site, and that will be very helpful because I did not realize how much of a bottleneck it would be to only have one chainsaw battery, but those batteries are so expensive. I was trying not to buy another one. So it'd be good to be able to charge tools, run a saw, stuff like that. So that's an exciting update. I'm here on the property today. I'm gonna do some more tree work. I'll probably just set up a camera and kind of hyperlapse it or whatever, but I've got like 5 or 6 bigger trees. I'm gonna see how far my one chainsaw battery takes me. And I wish I had another one, but this chainsaw is actually pretty legit for being electric, and so still just doing kind of boring stuff. On my way out here, I passed somebody installing septic, and I didn't know the company existed, so it's nice to get another company's information to get a bid for it, or just see what they have to say. But I got my perk test back yesterday or Monday, and no, it was yesterday, and it's pretty much the minimums of what you could do. It's like 310 feet of lateral lines. You could go conventional surface absorption or aerobic. Obviously I want to go conventional because aerobic's kind of expensive. I'm still not sure on how that's going to go. I might do it myself, maybe not, because I'm not so experienced with excavation, and we're kind of on a little bit of a hill, so it's a little sketchy. But I have tons and tons of just clearing out trees to go, and so I'm going to try to do a lot of that today with my loppers, and we'll see how far the chainsaw goes. So well, I'm out of battery. I didn't get as far as I'd like. And looking at the time lapse, it doesn't seem very exciting, but it did get a lot cleared out of that. All the annoying little things that you run into, you have to go all the way around, so that's helpful. I'm gonna have to get another chainsaw battery though. This is ridiculous. I'm out here trying to figure out where to lay out the foundation, lay out the house. Something that stuck with me, I followed Patina Farm. It's the Giovanni's. It's a designer and an architect, husband and wife, and they have this amazing home. I think they just recently sold it. It was in Ojai, California. And they said something that stuck with me about visiting the site and looking at, before they designed a house, they bought this site and then they looked at it and they centered the whole thing around this one massive tree in the backyard. And the way it's set up is you walk through the front door, or you can see through the front door to the back door and to actually see that tree. And obviously what I'm building here is nothing compared to that, but I am trying to think through how the trees that I want to keep are going to lay out with the openings, and try to keep it somewhat symmetrical. The house isn't symmetrical. It's got one big part that'll be over here that'll be 32 by 16, and then another little add-on thing that's 12 by 12 or 14. I don't remember, I have to look at the plans, but I'm trying to think, how can I center my door opening, because I have a front porch too, with trees so that it looks right, so that you have the best views and whatnot. And so I think I've decided, because I don't want to get too close to that massive tree right there. And then on this side, you can't really see it, but behind that one there's a tree. And so I'm trying to think about it, and I think I've narrowed it down to centering the opening, the front door, right there, in between those two trees. And that works pretty good too with my other windows. I'm just walking around trying to figure out how it affects other parts of the house, other parts of the layout, make sure that I'm not missing something. I've made some really ghetto fabulous stakes to kind of do a rough layout. of where I'm gonna lay this out. That way I can do the real one later, but this is just kind of to rough it in to see where it's gonna really be. So here we go. It's definitely not gonna be real close. Within the nearest foot is probably fine, but I'm gonna take and run a center line between these trees and kind of just eyeball it back that way somewhere. Use that as my reference. So I'll go 16 feet off the middle of that this way, and then I'll have to look at the plans and go the other direction and create kind of eyeballing just the front line of the house. It's easy to get 2 points, but you go beyond that and things get out of square and whatever. And so this is going to be anywhere close to that, but I just want to rough it in to make sure I don't have trees that are too close to boundary lines and stuff like that. So I'll set up and just kind of time lapse it. Okay, so the time-lapse thing wasn't working so good, but just trying to show you what I've got here. The way the house is shaped, I'll put something on screen right now, hopefully. But I'm gonna do like the outside dimensions outside of everything. And so it's not like it's just a rectangle, you know, it's got different shapes, different things going on, and there's a front porch, but this line I'm laying out right now, I think could best be categorized as the edge of the front porch. So it's 10 foot back from these trees. I feel like that gives me a little bit of space to grow and trim things up and whatever. But the overall is 24 deep with the porch by 43 that way. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm just going to do it and I'll show you later.